Yosemite National Park, a place of impossible beauty. Granite cliffs, silver rivers, air so thin it feels holy. But behind the postcard lies a pattern that refuses to fade. People walk in and never come back. The government says it's coincidence. The locals whisper another word: cursed. They call it the crown of the American wilderness, a temple carved by time, where sunlight pours down cathedral walls of stone and waterfalls descend like endless prayers. But beauty has a price, and in Yosemite, beauty watches. Every year, millions enter the park. Families, hikers, rangers. Most leave with photos, some with broken bones, and others with nothing at all. No footprints, no gear, no trace. Since the early 1900s, hundreds of people have vanished inside these mountains, swallowed by canyons, forests, and silence. Search parties find no evidence. Radios fail. Dogs lose the scent, as if the air itself swallows it. The official reports call them missing persons. But to those who've seen the way the park changes at dusk, how the granite glows like ember, how the sound of water drowns every voice, it feels like something older is moving here. Something that doesn't like to be found. Some say it's the terrain, cliffs that hide their dead. Others whisper of portals, of strange lights that dance between the pines. And a few believe the land itself is alive, that Yosemite chooses who stays and who disappears into its lungs of stone. Because when the wind moves through the valley, it doesn't sound like air. It sounds like breathing. This is not just a park. It's a predator made of granite and silence. A place that doesn't just take lives, it keeps them. Welcome to Yosemite National Park, the park that eats its own. Paulides noticed something strange. The disappearances followed a pattern, clusters around granite, water, storms, and silence. The maps of vanishing. When former detective David Paulides began his investigation, he expected chaos, random tragedies scattered across time and terrain. What he found instead were patterns. Pinned on the walls of his office were maps of the United States, covered in red dots. Each dot represented a missing person: hikers, campers, climbers, children, rangers. And when he stepped back, the chaos began to take shape. The dots formed clusters, tight circles, concentrated zones of disappearance. They weren't random. They seemed to follow invisible rules. Paulides called them cluster maps. And one of the brightest, densest clusters was Yosemite National Park, the 4 elements of a disappearance. Over years of study, Paulides noticed that the same elements appeared again and again, like a ritual written by the wilderness itself. Granite, Most cases occurred near massive granite formations, cliffs, domes, boulders that seemed to hum in silence. Yosemite, of course, is made almost entirely of it. Water, lakes, creeks, waterfalls. Victims were last seen beside them or found near them, as if the water itself played a role, a mirror or a door. Storms. Right after the disappearance, weather changed. Clear skies turned violent. Rain or snow erased evidence within hours, closing the trail before it began. And finally, silence. Witnesses described an unnatural stillness moments before someone vanished. Birds stopped singing. The wind died. Even insects went quiet. It was as if the forest itself paused to listen. 4 constants: stone, water, storm, silence. A pattern carved into geography, waiting for another name to join it. The unnatural theories. Science shrugged. Nature is random after all. But the silence invited darker answers. Some believe the missing are victims of interdimensional rifts, natural portals hidden within magnetic fields of the Earth, places where the barrier between realities thins like mist. Granite, rich in quartz and piezoelectric minerals, is known to generate electromagnetic charge under pressure. Could these geological forces open windows in space and time? It sounds like science fiction until you look at the testimonies, the survivors who returned. There are those who came back, few, but enough to make the impossible harder to ignore. A boy missing for 3 days found miles away, barefoot, unharmed, saying he fell asleep under the light. A woman discovered in the same clothes she vanished in, though the fabric showed no wear, no dirt, no tear, no explanation. She claimed she'd only been gone for minutes. And then there are the strange lapses. People found in places that should have taken days to reach, unaware of how they got there, unable to recall anything beyond a humming sound or a flash of white. Doctors called it dissociative amnesia, but in the missing 411 files, it earned another name, lost time. As if the person hadn't simply vanished from the park, but from the clock. The indigenous echoes. Long before rangers and tourists, the native peoples of the Sierra Nevada, the Awanichi and other tribes, told their own stories of Yosemite. They spoke of the stone spirits, beings that lived inside the cliffs and punished those who disrespected the valley. They warned children not to wander near certain rocks after sunset, for that was when the doors opened to the tribes. These weren't myths. They were geography, maps of sacred danger drawn in memory instead of ink. Even the name Yosemite comes from a Miwok word often interpreted as those who kill. Not as metaphor, but as warning. Modern geologists call the stories superstition, but the patterns Paulides found trace almost perfectly over the ancient places the tribes refused to enter. The same lakes, the same cliffs, the same silence. Maybe the legend wasn't born from fear. Maybe it was born from observation. The Magnetic Valley scientists who've studied Yosemite's geology admit something curious. Electromagnetic readings fluctuate wildly across the valley floor. Compasses spin, radios fade, GPS devices glitch, marking coordinates that don't exist. In certain areas, the magnetic field spikes enough to scramble signals completely. Could such interference affect the human brain, perception, orientation, even timekeeping? Some physicists suggest it's possible. A momentary electromagnetic surge could disorient, cause memory loss, even create the illusion of time compression. But that still doesn't explain the vanishing. You can lose your sense of direction. You can't lose yourself. The portals theory. In recent years, paranormal researchers have mapped the so-called vortex zones, circular areas where magnetism, granite, and water converge in geometric alignment. Yosemite contains several of these formations. The idea is ancient, places of power, gateways between worlds. Modern theorists call them interdimensional portals, natural openings where space folds. The indigenous called them spirit paths. Some say the missing didn't die, they crossed. That somewhere, another Yosemite exists, mirrored, quiet, unreachable. Others think these anomalies attract something else, entities that slip through, curious or hungry. Not ghosts, not animals, something older than both. It's a theory easy to mock until you read hundreds of reports that echo the same words. The air changed. Everything went quiet. I turned around, and they were gone. Coincidence doesn't repeat that perfectly. The silence that watches Yosemite's beauty hides a secret geometry, granite bones, veins of quartz, rivers that glint like mirrors. It's a machine carved by nature, built to echo something beyond human scale. Paulides never claimed it was supernatural. He only said this: patterns mean intelligence. And in Yosemite, the patterns keep repeating. The question isn't whether something takes these people. The question is whether Yosemite itself is that something. A living landscape, a consciousness carved in stone, testing those who enter its cathedral. Because in the heart of Yosemite, silence isn't absence, it's attention. Closing beat for Chapter 3. Every map Paulides drew led back to the same truth. The disappearances weren't random. They were ritual. Granite, water, storms, silence. 4 elements, 1 pattern. Maybe it's magnetism. Maybe it's madness. Or maybe it's the sound of a door opening in the mountains. A door that only answers when called by fear. Paulides noticed something strange. The disappearances followed a pattern. Clusters around granite, water, storms, and silence.